Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Shri Chinmaya Yatishasya Gurum Vande Tapovanam Tam Himavad Vibhutim Vai Jnana Vairagya Rupinam Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyam Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagam Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitai Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vriddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho arishtanemihi Swasti no brihaskatir dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, my humble pranams to all. So in this Prasnopanishad, which is a technical Upanishad. There are a lot of technical Sanskrit terms related to the Vedas, related to the rituals and yagnas that were performed. I'll try my best to make it as simple as possible. There are a lot of concepts that are clarified in this Upanishad. I myself am benefiting a lot by learning because a lot of basic ideas are explained very well in this. So this Upanishad starts with 6 students approaching a teacher asking for Brahma Vidya. They have already done the studies of the Vedas, have done some upasanas, but they need the final knowledge. And as we said, the teacher asked them to stay for a year, samvatsaraha, with tapasa, brahmacharyam, and shraddha. So with self-control and with total faith. And he said, at the end of the year, if we know the answer, we'll give it to you. So the students have full faith in the teacher and they stay for a year serving the teacher and purifying their mind in that beautiful atmosphere of the ashram. And then at the end of a year, Kabandi is the student who asked the first question. He says, Kuto hava praja prajayanta iti. Oh Bhagwan, From where has this praja come, this entire creation that I see? And obviously the question is not of biology. Even a high school student knows that male and female create praja. When it is in the Upanishad, the idea is that the student wants to know the original source. Where did this all come from? And so the Rishi answers, Praja Kamo Prajapati, so Tapa Tapyata. Prajapati, who is Brahmaji, who is the creator, desiring this creation to manifest. So Prajapati does tapas. Tapas does not mean he stood on one leg. Tapas here means very clear visualization. He knew what the creation was going to be. And it is the sum total of all our desires that manifest in this creation, not only humans, but animals, birds, plants, fish. We all have vasanas, have unmanifest desires, which each one of us, we create our own world based on our tendencies, our desires. And Prajapati is nothing but the sum total of all our creation. So whatever this universe I am seeing is my own creation. Prajapati is the total Ishvara is said to be the total vasanas, the total prajna. So that is how this whole universe came into being. And then the teacher says he created two, prana and rai. And we have taught that before. Rai is matter, not only matter that we can see, but also the unmanifest matter. That means the mind, the intellect, the thoughts, emotions, all that is rai. Whatever is inert is rai. Whatever is. And the mind and intellect, even though we think it is very active, has a lot of energy, it is all borrowed from consciousness. And prana represents the energy, but not the inert energy, but the sentient energy. So prana represents the sentiency, the life principle. And together, the life principle and matter create this entire universe, not only the living beings, but also the non-living beings. And then he also equated prana and rai with Surya and Chandra. So Chandrama is inert and does not have light of its own. So it represents rai or matter, which is non-sentient. And Surya has energy of its own. And so Surya is representative of prana, just as Surya illumines not only the moon, but the whole earth, and all life is because of this Surya. So that is called prana, that is called Surya, that is called Agni also. So these are all names given to the prana, and Rai is called Chandrama, and so on. When we talk about Surya and Chandra, we are not talking about the ball of fire, the sun, or the stone, which is the moon, because Armstrong went and landed on the moon and he didn't find any life. He didn't find anything. It was just stones. So we say when we talk about Surya and Chandrama, we talk about the deities. There is a Surya Bhagavan and there is a Chandra Bhagavan, who is the power behind it. Just as Vayu Devta, Vayu, the wind we can see, but there is a god of Vayu, and he's same way there is a god of Agni. Agni is visible, but there is a god like Indra, Varuna, and so on. So these are all divine celestial powers which are responsible for running this universe. And so when we talk about that, we have to be clear that I'm talking about the power that is behind and that is responsible. So when the Surya is able to give light, it is because of that light of consciousness, which is Bhagavan himself manifests. And they say this Prajapati himself became the Surya and the Chandrama. So what it means is that, and from him all of us came. So since all of us came from that, and Surya and Chandrama also came from that Prajapati, so each one of us is that divinity. And that is the message so far we have got from this Upanishad. Also, it is said that there are celestial worlds. We'll be talking about that, Jana, Tapa, above the earth, and then there are Atala, Patala, Sutala, and all below us. But even in the heavens, one has not accomplished the final goal. One can only accomplish the final goal either by Jivan Mukti in this life or by going beyond the heavens to brahmaloka, which is the highest loka. And there one can evolve after studying with Brahmaji to the highest. Because even in the heavens, we find that these devatas had human failings. Like, we know the story of Cain Upanishad, where the devatas were very arrogant because they had won, and then the divine conscious Bhagwan himself manifested as Yaksha to teach them a lesson, where Agni and Vayu were not able to accomplish, just move that little straw. So to teach them a lesson, the Lord himself manifested. And even Indra, we see that at times he gets very insecure when somebody is doing a lot of tapas. He feels that his throne is in danger. So he will send an apsara to, disturb that rishi, or he will kidnap his horse. So the point is that the goal of life should be not heaven, not to go to that, but to go beyond heaven to that final state of enlightenment. And that's what the rishi will tell us. And last week we had talked about what the moon is, Chandrama, which is the lokam where punaravartante, we come back, from the world of the moon, we come back. From the world of the sun, we don't come back. And it's not as I said, not the physical sun, because if we go to the physical sun, for sure we will not come back. Na punaravartante. So the idea is that it is the celestial worlds of the Surya and the Chandra. So that is what we had studied up to shloka number 9, where the Rishi told us that there are two paths, the northern path, the Uttarayana, and the Dakshinayana. Uttarayana is the path of the sun, Agni, the path of the Prajapati, the path of evolution. And there one continues to progress. And in the path of the moon, it is not that the path is lower. These people are very spiritually evolved. See, there are three groups. One is people who are just, sensual and they don't care. They just want to enjoy life, have fun. So those are not addressed in this Upanishad. But there are two groups of people who are very good. One is doing rituals, karmas to go to heaven, to enjoy. And that is called prajakama. That's what the Rishi says, that these people are prajakama. They desire offspring, they desire joys. And so they go to heaven, enjoy, and punaravartante, they come back. But those who are not desirers of this, but who do karma plus upasana. See, the first group do a lot of karmas. They do rituals, they do prayers, and that's good. We are not criticizing, but that is the return. But if you do not want to return, then they say do karma plus upasana. And what is upasana? Upasana in the Upanishads means bhakti. What Bhagavan Sri Krishna mentions in the 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga. So that was called upasana. Upasana means being close to my Ishta Devta, to the Lord. And so this is what we have studied so far. Today we'll do shloka number 10. Jagrati can please chant. Athotarena
Athotarena
tapasa brahmacharyena
tapasa brahmacharyena
shraddhaya
Shraddhaya
vidyaya
Vidyaya
atmanam anvishya
Atmanam Anvishya
adityam abhijayante
Ya Aditya Abhijayante
etad vai prananam
Etadvai Prananam
ayatanam etadamritam
Ayatanametad Metad Amritam
abhaye abhayametat parayanaha
Abhaya Matparayana Ha
etasmana punaravartanta
Etasmanana Manapatasmana
punaravartanta
Purana Vantata
ityesha nirodha
Ittesha Nirodhayaha
tadesha shlokaha.
Tadesha Slokaha
It's a little hard chanting, but you did good. So we'll all chant together. You can please mute. Athotarena tapasa brahmacharyena shraddhaya vidyaya atmanamanvishya adityam abhijayante etad vai prananam ayatanam etadamritam abhayametat parayanam etasmanna punaravartanta ityesha nirodha tadesha shlokaha. So this is a long mantra where it is said that on the northern path, the path of the sun, atha means a new topic has been started. We had talked about the southern part already in last week. Today the Rishi is talking about Uttarena, the northern part. What happens? One has to do tapas, brahmacharya, and shraddha. So three, tapasa, brahmacharyena, shraddhaya, and the fourth is vidyaya. Vidyaya does not mean Brahma Vidya, does not mean the highest knowledge, but Vidya means the knowledge of upasanas, the knowledge of rituals, the knowledge of karmas. So these are all required. So we need tapas, which is austerity, then brahmacharya, which is living a life of moderation. Shraddha means complete faith in the Lord. And Shraddha, people have a very interesting concept. They say, I have faith in God. I definitely believe in God, but I don't want to do anything to reach him. I don't want to do any rituals. I don't want to do any pujas. Yes, there is a God, let him be there. Or there are others who do a lot of rituals, but they don't even think that God is listening. They are doing it mechanically. So one who does rituals with the idea that Bhagwan is sitting right in front of me and and it can be rituals, it can be chanting, what we just saw in Ram Navami chanting, where you sit with the idea that Bhagwan Sri Ram is right there and he is listening. So that is called Shraddha and Vidyaya. And then Atmanam Anvishya. So seeking the Atma, the self, that is their goal. And where do they reach? Adityam Abhijayante. They reach the zone or the loka of the Surya Loka. And Surya Loka, Brahma Loka are the same, the Loka of Brahmaji. For a Shiva devotee, it would be Kailash. For a Krishna devotee, would be Golok. For a Rama devotee, would be Saket. So they are all names of the same Brahma Loka. It does not mean there are 4 or 5 lokas in there, Kailash and Vaikuntha and Goloka. No, it is one Brahma Loka, but depending on the devotee's faith, Shraddha, that particular Loka manifests to him. So these are all manifestations of that one loka, but it is not the supreme. In brahmaloka, as I said, that is called krama mukti, where you can evolve. If you do not want to go brahmaloka, then do it right here itself, be done with it. And also people say, well, can I get Brahma Mukti right away, or do I have to go to the other heavens? And they say that people who have done good deeds go to heaven, but their final goal is enlightenment, but they have not done enough sadhana. So they come back, and having done good deeds and having enjoyed in heaven, they can continue their journey. So it's not that heaven is condemned. It can be an intermediary step, which Bhagavan says in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita also, that one who has not reached the final and comes back, I then help him. So that is this is the lok of Surya. And it says, of all the pranis, etad vai prananam ayatanam, it is said to be the final abode. And etad amritam, it is immortal. This world, this Brahma Loka, it does not go into pralaya, it is always there. The heavens, the lower worlds will go into evolution, but the Brahma Loka is amritam, that is also called the Surya Loka. And abhayam, abhayam means it makes us fearless. And etat parayanam, and that is our abode. And etasmat, from this, na punaravartante, the person doesn't come back. Iti esha nirodha. So that is the end. Once you go there, then nirodha means you do not come back. And then the Rishi says there is another shloka of the Rig Veda, which the Rishi will quote. So let us see a little bit about this particular shloka. So we said that karma plus jnana, the combination or the upasanas are required. And to reach this, the sadhanas are mostly manasik, mostly mental sadhanas. Physically, you may do some rituals and all, but the main idea is to tune our mind with our Ishtadevta, with our God. And that's why we do the Shiv Manas Puja, Ratnai Kalpitam Asanam Him Jalaihi and so on. So maybe next time, if you would like to chant that, then I can try to give the meaning of that Shiv Manas Puja. So this is mental. The activity is mainly mental, where my mind is tuned with the higher. There's a very beautiful story about this saint. He was called Pusalar. He lived in South India in a town called Tiruninivar. So there was a Pallava king who was a great Shiva Bhakta and had made a huge temple in Kanchipuram, beautiful temple for Lord Shiva with all the money and effort and the best artists. And he put his best effort, and then the temple was to be consecrated, purified and inaugurated on a particular day. And a few days before, the Raja is sleeping and Lord Shiva appears in his dream and says, you need to postpone that consecration. I cannot come to the temple. He says, Lord Shiva, you won't come to that temple? He says, yes. He says, why? He says, I need to go attend the inauguration of another temple made by Pusalar in this town called Tiruninivar. I have to go there. And so it happens to be on the same day. Obviously Bhagavan can be in two places, but he wanted that king's pride to be humbled. Said, I can't come to your inauguration. You have to postpone it maybe a week or two. So the king says, okay, and he says, okay, but he says, who is this one that has made a greater temple than I have? Who is this Pusalar, and where is this? I've never heard of this temple. So he goes to Tiruninivar, takes all his courtiers, and he asks everybody, is there a great Shiva temple? They say, no, it's a small village. there is no Shiva temple. He says, no, there has to be, because no, there isn't. He said, okay, is there a person called Pusalar? He says, yeah, there is this fellow, he lives in this small hut. And I don't know, all the time his mind is somewhere else. We don't know what he's doing all the time. He's there, we don't pay much attention to him. So the king goes searching and goes to Pusalar's hut, and he meets him. And Pusalar, of course, is, surprised to see the king. And the king says, have you made a temple? He says, yeah, I have. So he says, where is this temple I want to visit? He said, it's in my mind. What do you mean in your mind? He said, I made this temple in my mind. He said, how long did it take you? It took me many years. He said, took you many years to make it in your mind? How did you do that? He said, well, many years ago, I put the first brick and inaugurated the temple. And then each day I would put few additional bricks. And then I used to remember how much of the temple I have built. And then I would start from there. And so every day he remembers. If he has done one corner of the temple, he continues. And so it takes him many years of mental sadhana to build this beautiful temple. And of course, when you're building in your mind, you can make it, the best it can be. And with his mind is completely on Lord Shiva for all these years. And then the king realizes the message that Shiva wanted to teach him. He bows down and prostrates to this sage Pusalar, and he says, you are a greater Shiva Bhakta than I am. And in his temple, then of course, after a few days, it gets consecrated. He puts little plates, and one of the plates talks about the voice that came at night. And in it, he mentions Pusalar, that it was he who had built this temple. And then a few years later, the king actually makes a physical temple exactly as what he had envisioned. The bricks, the stones, and everything. So the point is that what God looks at is your motive, not what you can show off. And so, and ultimately, the end result of all upasana should be, I am Shiva, I am Sri Ram, I am Sri Krishna, I am not separate. So this identification, because just as Prajapati is the totality, so Lord Shiva or Lord Krishna or Bhagwan or Ram are the totality. So I am that. Just as with my country, if I'm an Indian and I'm living in India, I say I identify with this country, Rashtra, I am. Or if I'm in America, I say I am America, I am that. So this identification with the totality is true upasana, where this God and I are not separate, because everything is a manifestation of that. And we already saw what are the qualifications required: brahmacharya, shraddha, tapasa, and the right knowledge. And the experience of this divinity is not outside. It's not that God will appear, though even in the Puranas they describe that God appeared to him and blessed him and all. It comes like as Lord Shiva did, inside the experience of that divinity. So it's not like just as I'm experiencing cake, eating cake, you cannot experience God as cake. You have to experience God as me, I, myself. And for that, one needs to be introvert. You need to go inward and find God's presence within. And people in meditation often struggle, they fight to control their mind. They say there is no need to struggle, no need to fight. Just quietly, softly, gently pay attention within, and the Lord will manifest. So it is an inner sadhana, not outer. But what people say, I'll have fun, I'll enjoy, I'll be extrovert. But then in the morning, I'll do meditation, I'll do 1 hour puja. And you cannot have extrovert lifestyle and puja at the same time. And you can do it, but you won't grow. It's like when you're driving, you press the accelerator and brake at the same time. Will the car move? No, car will not move. So in my spiritual journey, if I'm going to be extrovert and do everything outside and then not go inward, it is like I am pressing the accelerator to go out and then pressing the brake to slow down. So together they have to be done, not together, but the introvert lifestyle has to be carried out and the extrovert activities have to slowly reduce. I have to reduce as much as I can and spend time. And whatever, it's not that one should not do rituals, upasanas, karma yoga, bhakti, all those should be done, but with a nishkama bhava, that I want nothing from it. I don't even want punya. I don't even want heaven. I'm just doing it for purity of mind so that my mind may become pure, and through that the people may benefit. If they benefit, fine. If not, his purpose is not even lok seva or jana seva. His purpose is just to be one with God, to merge with the divinity. And they say there are 4 kinds of muktis that you can get. I'll just do this briefly and then we'll go to the next shloka. So he says there is salokya, samipya, sarupya, and sayujya. So a lot of technical. So salokya means I am in the same loka as my Ishta Devta. So as I said, for a Krishna Devta, it is Goloka, for a Vishnu Devta, Vaikuntha, and so on. So I am in that loka, Kailash, and so on. Then Samipya means I'm very close to Bhagavan. I'm very close, just as I go to a party and I meet a politician and I say, you know what, I met the senator, I shook hands with him, took a picture with him, and now I have his, he gave me his private number. I can call him anytime because I have made a donation. So here our effort is our puja, our sadhanas, our tapas. So through that I become very close to Bhagavan. That is called Samipya. And the third is Sarupya, where this individual starts looking like his or her Ishta Devta, develops the same qualities. Maybe not necessarily physically, but develops the same qualities, the same rupa. So like Jaya and Vijay, who stand outside Vaikuntha, where they are guarding Bhagwan Vishnu's abode, they look like Vishnu himself. So that is Sarupya. And Sayujya means where there is merger. Yuj means become one. So that is the goal of, that's what he says. Etasmat na punara avartantaha, etad amritam, etad parayanam. That is my abode. And so this is the shloka number 10. And in that, the Rishi has quoted the Rig Veda mantra. So we'll chant that next.
Will that reinforce what he's saying?
Yeah, that mantra will reinforce. We'll talk about this Surya Lokaha.
Did we mention Ishtam and Purata?
Ishta Puruta we mentioned last time. Ishtam and Pura. Ishtam means doing upasanas, doing meditation, doing prayers, which is takes you on the northern path. If it has to be done nishkama, without any selfish desires. And Purata is doing community service, like digging wells, making orphanages, making dharamshala. So one has to do both. Do some community service, do some puja, upasana, but they have to be without any selfish desire. My only desire is to become one with God. That is the only purpose of doing it. So that is Ishta and Purta. That's what they had mentioned in the previous shloka. And that is what. So now we'll do mantra number 11. Saroj, do you want to chant?
Yes.
Panchapadam Pitaram
Panchapadam Pitaram
Dvadashakritim Diva Ahuhu
Dadasakran Diva Ahu
Pare Ardhe
Pare Ardhe
Purishinam
Puri Sinam
Athe Me Anya
Atheme Anya
Upare Vichakshanam
Upare Vichakshanam
Sapta Chakre
Saptachakre
Shadar Ahuhu
Sadar Ahuhu
Arpitam Iti.
Arpitamiti
Okay, you can, yeah, please mute. We'll all chant together. Panchapadam Pitaram Dvadasha Kritim Diva Ahuhu Pare Ardhe Purishinam Athe Me Anya Upare Vichakshanam Sapta Chakre Shadarahuhu Arpitam Iti. So now this Lord's Sun, so Surya Devta, is described with a lot of technical words, and I'll try to explain them because this is the language of the Vedas, which is very mystical language. But it can be, we have to apply that in our life. So this Lord's Sun is said to have Panchapadam, is said to have 5 legs. Okay, then he says he's the Pitaram, he's the father. Okay, that we understand. It is the origin of all life. And then Dvadasha Akritim. Dvadasha, Dasha plus 2 means 12. So 12 Akritim. So 12 forms this Bhagavan Surya has. And Deva Ahuhu Pare Ardhe. So it is that which is beyond this world. This world that we see, it is beyond that, and it is said to be Purishinam. It is said to be the giver of rain. So Ardhe means it is the top half, it is higher, and Purishinam means it is the giver of rain. And Atha Ime Anye Upare, and who are the ones who can reach it? Atha Ime Anya Upare, who are the ones who reach it? Vichakshanam, people who are wise, people who have studied the scriptures, have done the upasanas. And then they have given a few more qualities of this Bhagwan Surya. It is Sapta Chakre, has 7 wheels.
The 7 horses.
Yeah,
7
7 wheels.
horses.
Some places it said 7 wheels. Here it is at 7 horses.
Yeah, 1.
Yeah, so 7 horses, right? I think in the commentary they have written both 7 wheels, but 7 horses. And then Shadar Ahuhu, 6 spokes. The wheel has 6 spokes. You know, the rods in the wheel. And Ahuhu Arpitam, placed upon that. On which the whole world is placed. So the whole world is placed upon the Surya Bhagwan. And so this is now Kala. So here Bhagwan is being worshipped as time, because the whole time depends on the Surya and the Chandra. You know, the Surya, because when the sun rises and the sun sets, we know that the sun does not rise or set, but it is the earth that is moving. The rishis already knew that. And what is required is continuous awareness, continuous remembrance of this Surya Bhagwan, which is the Supreme Lord himself. Talking about continuous remembrance, so this man was telling his friend, he says in old age, 3 things happen. So he says 3 things. What are the 3 things that happen? He says, first you lose your memory. He says, okay. What are the second and third? He says, I don't remember. So not like that. One has to continuously remember Bhagwan. And that's why all these qualities are given of Bhagwan, that he is time. He is Kala. So now it is said to be Panchapadam. It is said to be 5 legs. So 5 legs. Actually, there are 6 seasons, but Shankaracharya ji in his commentary says that this can be counted as 5 seasons, because what they do is there is 6, right? Hemanta, Shishira, which are the cold, Vasanta, which is the spring, Grishma, which is heat, Varsha, which is the rain, and Sharad, which is the autumn or the fall. But in some scriptures, Hemant and Shishira, the cold seasons, are combined as one. So when 6 out of the 6, 2 are made as 1, it becomes 5 seasons. So Shankaracharya ji says that's why the Rishi says Panchapadam. And Pitaram, he is the father, he is the creator. The sun is the one that is sustaining all life, and we are children of that sun. And then it is above, Ahu Pare Ardhe, because when we chant the Gayatri mantra, we say Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam. It is the higher. Pare Ardhe, it is the higher. That means it is above earth, space, and heavens. It is the highest, Supreme Lord. And it is Dwadasha Akritim. It has 12 forms, which means represent the 12 months. And each month, the weather is different, the atmosphere is different. Even, people wear different clothes. Like in the winter, we wear different clothes. In the summer, in the spring, autumn, we wear different. Even the calendar, if you look at each month, has a different picture. So, Dwadasha Akritim. So, this sun is said to have 12 forms, Akritis. And it is Purishinam. Purishinam means it is the most efficient desalination plant. They are making desalination plants in the Middle East where they take ocean water, they boil it, and then get the steam and make, drinkable water. And it costs them thousands and thousands of dollars to make it. But the sun effortlessly, all the oceans are heated and the water is released into steam. And then the wind carries it, then it falls as rain. But not only it, that's why in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says, Tapamyaham aham varsham nigranami utsrijami cha. So I am the one as the sun, I heat the oceans, I hold the rain, and then I release it as needed. In the 9th chapter, Bhagavan says. So here also, the water is stored and released. How? In the snow. In the mountains, when the rain falls, what does Bhagavan do? Create cold weather so that it is stored as snow. And then when we need it, then slowly the snow melts and then it becomes the river, and then it is utilized by the people. So Bhagavan not only creates rain, but he also stores it. The rain may only fall for 3-4 months, but we are able to enjoy that for the whole year. And so same way, our duty, but what we are doing is with the global warming, we are now melting the glaciers faster, melting the snow peaks, and soon we will, that's why we are having all these droughts, because we are not learning how to conserve the water, how to use it properly, how to save it. So they say you have to save the water with dams and use it wisely. So that is called Purishinam. And then it is said to be Vichakshanam. So as we have said, people who have done all these sadhanas, who have studied all this higher knowledge, and they are called Kala Vidaha, the knowers of time. So knowers of time means Bhagavan himself has become time. It's not that Bhagavan created time, but Bhagavan himself became time. And then when we say Sapta Chakre, that is read as 7 horses, but Chakra also means wheel. So I don't know how they have.
Like a chariot.
Like a chariot, 7 horses. Pulled by 7 horses.
Chakra.
So Sapta Chakre, Gurudev in his commentary says it is the 7 colors of the rainbow. They already knew that the spectroscopy in the prism, that if you put white light, how it splits into 7 colors. So those 7 represent the 7 horses that pull Surya Devta. So Surya Devta is said to go through the heavens. That's why Pushan Ekarshe we studied in Ishavasya Upanishad. That is one that travels alone through the cosmos and sustains all of us. 7 colors, it means the 7 colors of the rainbow, also can mean 7 days of the week. So then it is said to be Shadara Ahu. It is said to be 6. So again, some people say there are 5 seasons. Some people say there are 6 seasons.
Those are spokes.
So those are the spokes of the wheel. That means that that is representative of time. Time is traveling, so that is how time is going on. So this is the shloka number 11. Is that clear? I hope I was able to
Yes.
explain the path of the sun, how the sun travels with 7 horses and with 12 seasons
The whole world is fine.
and the 12 months, and the whole world is sustained by that, but it is the higher, the Supreme Lord manifesting as the sun. That's why I said there are a lot of technical terms, but we'll see how we can apply that to our life, that, you know, how one should constantly worship the Lord as the Supreme Self, which is called Surya. So now we'll do shloka number 12. Kerry, would you like to chant?
Okay.
Maso vai prajapatihi
Maso vai prajapatihi
tasya Krishna paksha
tasya Krishna paksha
eva rahihi
eva rahi
shukla pranaha
shukla pranaha
tasmad eta rishayaha
tasmad eta rikshayaha
shukla ishtam
shukla ishtam
kurvantitara
kurvantitara
itarasmin.
itarasmin.
Okay, you can mute. We'll all chant together. Maso vai prajapatihi tasya Krishna paksha eva rai shukla pranaha tasmad etar rishayaha shukla ishtam kurvanta itarasmin. So now, having said that the whole year is Surya, you know, the 12 months, we said the 12 forms of Surya, the 6 seasons. Now he's coming to the month. How is the month divided? First, the year was Surya, and the month, they say, is also Prajapati, but it is the Chandrama. It is the waxing and waning of the moon that describes the month. So Maso vai Prajapatihi. So the month is Prajapati himself, and the month has 2 parts, just as the year has the Uttarayana and a Dakshinayana. So the month has 2 parts, Krishna Paksha and Shukla Paksha. So Shukla Paksha is the bright half of the moon. So when the moon is increasing, waxing, when it's growing from, you know, from the Amavasya to Purnima, that is called the Shukla Paksha. And then from Purnima, it is going back to Amavasya. So from the full moon, it is going back to no moon. So that is called the Krishna Paksha. So when the moon is increasing, it is called Shukla Paksha. When it is decreasing, it is called Krishna Paksha. And these rishis, they do their upasanas. Some do in the Shukla Paksha, some do in the Krishna Paksha. So the one where the moon is increasing is said to be Shukla, that is said to be the bright fortnight. And the second half is said to be the dark fortnight. So some people do rituals in the bright fortnight for them to go upward, and the dark fortnight is said to be the time of indulgence, you know, extrovert activities and sense indulgences, because that is the moon. But he says, but true devotees, true rishis, they don't care whether it's Shukla Paksha or Krishna Paksha. They do the rituals with that motive that I have to reach Bhagavan. And there are others who are doing sense indulgences in the Krishna Paksha, but even in the Shukla Paksha also, but the bright moon also, they do the same. So it says that you can either live by, okay, by the rituals, by astrology, that this is the bright part, this is the dark portion. So all my, if I want to start something new, I should start it in the Shukla Paksha, not in the Krishna Paksha. Even in the daytime, the day is divided into 90 minutes, and the astrologer will say, this is the auspicious time for the wedding, or this is the auspicious time for you to start a new business. So either you follow that 100%, okay, it is said in the scriptures, you find the right person, and then you follow that. Okay, in the good time, I will do good deeds. In the other time, also I will do good deeds, because my goal is realization. So some people follow that. Okay, this is the auspicious time. In this auspicious time, I won't get married, or I won't start a new business. Or other people say every time is Bhagwan's time. As long as I am remembering God. So either you practice it 100%, either you 100% follow the astrology and rituals, or you 100% follow bhakti. And in that case, then there is no complaint. If everything is Bhagwan, then there is nothing to complain. Even if there are problems coming, it is Bhagwan's way of waking me up. So either you have complete surrender to Bhagwan, complete devotion, complete gratitude, or you follow what is written in the Vedas and the Upanishads and all. But either way, the purpose of it is that I should live in harmony with the totality, with the universe, and seek guidance from the teachers, from the masters. And through this knowledge, through bhakti, through upasana, the main goal is to reduce the ego. So the idea is that I myself am not the doer, Bhagwan is doing, and I constantly remember him. And whether it's daytime, whether it's nighttime, whether it's Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha, doesn't matter. All the time, my mind is in God. While there are others whose mind is all the time in Bhoga, for them, doesn't matter Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha, they are all the time enjoying. So that is the essence of this shloka, that everything is Prajapati, even the sun is Prajapati, the moon is Prajapati, the time, whether it's the year, whether it's the month, it is all Prajapati. And I am the consumer. That's why they had used the word Atta and Annam. So I, as the Jiva, am the consumer, and use the world wisely, use it efficiently, and then keep your mind always in God, always in bhakti, and try to identify that this same creator has appeared as me. I am not separate. I am all. That is the idea. That's what Gurudev in his commentary says. If there is a silver, and of that silver you make rings, and you make chains, and you make other ornaments, they are nothing but silver or gold, if you take gold.
Name and form.
So name and form. So similarly, one Prajapati, one Brahman, one consciousness has manifested in this whole world as the Surya, as the Chandra, as the time, as the seasons, as the Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha. So the Rishi is trying to take the student's mind from the creation to the creator. And then from the creator in this Upanishad, he will take it to the supreme Brahman, the supreme consciousness that is beyond form. So far, Prajapati is the one that has form, that is Brahmaji, that is the creator. So the Rishi has taken us up to there, but ultimately he will take us beyond. These are little technical concepts. I don't know if I was able to explain or not. If anybody has any questions, comments, anything was not clear in these mantras. We have about 5 to 7 minutes.
I had a question a little bit about, the months. So you have half of the month is bright and half of it is dark.
Yeah, so what happened is when the moon is increasing from the dark moon, when it is increasing to a full moon, that is said to be the bright. That is the Shukla Paksha of the month. And then when the moon is waning, from full moon, it goes down to no moon, then that is the waning part. So when the moon is waxing, growing, it is
It's
called
energy.
Shukla Paksha. And when it is going down, it is called Krishna Paksha. So the month has been divided into two parts based
Right
on the
one.
movements of the moon.
Is it like unlucky or something? Like if you
Well, in a way, it not so much lucky, but the bright is when
More
all the
energy.
upasanas are done, there is more energy, and a lot of the new beginnings usually should be done in the bright portion. In the dark portion is said to be a portion of rest and slowing down and doing less. But wise people continue, some people only do upasanas in the bright part of the moon, and the others, they maybe do some karma yoga. But he says true Vichakshana, true wise people, they do rituals all the time. They do prayers all the time. They remember God, whether it's the bright part of the moon or the dark part, Shukla Paksha, it doesn't matter. And then there are those who enjoy life. For them, it doesn't matter, what day of the week, what month of the year, they are always indulging. So
Yeah,
So your
that's what
choice
he
is-
says.
Hmm.
Nishkam karmas, when they are performed, it doesn't matter when you perform them.
right.
And so they take you, even you can perform them in the dark
Right.
fortnight.
Right. Yeah. So unselfish work
Nishkam
dedicated to
karma.
God, Nishkam Karma, can be done at any time.
Yeah, it's at the end, last paragraph of the 12.
Okay. Last paragraph. Yeah. So they say those who find no distinction between the dark and the bright fortnights, and they perform Nishkam Karma constantly throughout,
Yeah.
dedicated to God and for service for others, and without any selfish desires, not even desiring heaven, not even desiring punya. That is Nishkam Karma. There is no purpose, no desire.
No.
Does that answer your question?
yes.
Thank you. Anything else? Lata, you have something? Go ahead.
Is brahmaloka a point of no return, but heaven you return back?
Yes, Brahma Loka, 99.9% of the people don't come back. But a rare one might still come back if he still has some desires which are not fulfilled. The person has gone to Brahma Loka. He says, yeah, but on earth, there was this thing I didn't enjoy. He said, okay, go back. So the choice is yours. There's total democracy, total freedom. If you have desires, you say, yeah, you keep
Even to
fulfilling
go
it.
to Brahma Loka is a lot of,
Lot of
it's
tapas.
very hard.
Yeah,
In the Katha Upanishad, Yamaraj tells Nachiketa that, you are smarter than me, because he wanted straight,
right.
wanted the liberation. He didn't want to go to Brahma
He didn't
Loka.
want Brahma Loka.
He said,
didn't want.
I did that. And
Right. Yeah, so
So-
Nachiketa just wanted come. And Brahma Loka is also, as I mentioned, also said to be Kailash, said to be Vaikuntha, Goloka, Sakit.
Right.
So these are all names, but Brahma Loka, generally, people, when they go there, they have done so much tapas and upasanas that they have no more desires left except enlightenment, but they have not reached in
And
this
the
life.
body,
If you
yeah.
have not reached that, then you go to Brahma Loka, you study with Brahmaji, but then you have to stay for 4 billion years till the next pralay happens. But their time is nothing. That's 1 day. 1 day of Brahmaji and 1 night of Brahmaji is this 8
So-
billion years. So
So is
So-
that what it is referring in the book, that is progressive liberation or krama
Yeah.
yes,
mukti?
yes.
Krama
Krama
Mukti.
Mukti.
Yes. Krama Mukti is that where I go to Brahma Loka, I study the
Okay.
same Upanishads, the same knowledge, and then
In Sanskrit.
in Sanskrit you have to study, and then you reach enlightenment.
But you are emphasizing that Jivan Mukti, while in the life of a human being, is superior to everything else.
Yes, superior to heaven,
Oh.
superior to Brahma Loka, superior to everything. That's why
Okay.
the true seekers want Jivan Mukti itself. But if you don't get it, that's what Arjuna had asked Sri Krishna. How about if I don't get, will my life be wasted? Bhagwan says, no, you can either go to brahmaloka and study, or even if you go to lower heavens, Jana, Tapa, all these
And you
Swarga
still
and all,
come back.
then you can come back and continue your journey. But the
Right.
idea should be that
And
having
that's why
this,
they say human birth is the rare,
Very
and it's
precious.
very in this human birth only you can realize.
right,
Is as clearly as you see the mirror,
Right.
and how it's clean.
Right.
Do
In-
it.
yeah, so
Because in heaven it is like water. It's me, how your reflection in water is. So it's moving. That's how it
Right.
is. And then Brahmaloka is also
yes,
like, yeah.
Brahmaloka is very clear. Also, we must have done a lot of punya to have an opportunity to study this knowledge, these
You
Upanishads
guys are
and all.
all coming.
It is such a
listening.
blessing, all of
all
you.
of
We
you.
are coming, meeting us, and it is really Bhagwan's grace. We have to every day get up and thank him to give us Puja Gurudev, who has given us this. Whatever we have is from Puja Gurudev and his students. Whatever little I know is whatever I have heard from them, So it is really blessings of Guru Shishya Parampara, and Bhagwan himself, who has manifested as our Gurudev. So it is really a blessing. Otherwise, to get an opportunity to study Upanishads like this is rare. It's a rare.
Yeah, and that mantra 11, the description of it is just so unique,
I know.
Yes.
It's a very creative description. Only thing is, I could not figure it out, the chariot with only one wheel.
Yeah, if you see
Spokes
that
and,
Bhagwan ki chariot.
7 horses, but it has only one wheel, and
No.
on that wheel
Yeah,
there
no.
are 6 spokes.
Well, I think what they mean is it has to be 2 wheels, but
No,
each one has
wheel. Why unicycle is there?
1 wheel with 6 spokes.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. Unicycle is there. Don't you try drive unicycle the same way?
yeah. Well,
We should
Bhagwan
not-
in the Bhagavad
Bhagwan
Gita
can do
drives.
anything.
Yeah, he drives a chariot with 2 wheels.
One
Spokes on the wheel of the chariot of time.
That is
So,
page
you see,
number
because again,
69.
again,
Page
this,
number.
right, it is very symbolic. It's not that
Yeah,
actually Surya is right. What it means is that his chariot has the wheel which has 6 spokes, representing
Correct.
6 seasons, and 7 horses represent 7 days of the week or 7 colors. So the Rishi
Correct.
in his poetry is expressing
Yes.
the seasons and the time and all that.
Correct.
we see
Correct.
in our,
It-
dikhate hain na, all these Bhagwan is riding on a chariot. Those days there were no cars, there were only chariots.
Right,
So that's why he's giving the example of chariot.
right.
But
Okay,
Surya
thank you.
Bhagwan is sitting
Yeah,
on-
Surya as though is riding on a chariot and crossing the heavens.
And
That's
they
what-
also have a name of Aruna is the charioteer of Bhagwan Surya. Aruna. वो सुबह लाली आती है ना, that
हाँ.
is what they call the charioteer.
the redness
Redness in the morning.
at the dawn. Yeah, at the
Dawn.
dawn. That's why the dawn is called
The
Aruna.
charioteer is Aruna.
Yeah, he's the chariot.
Okay.
So it is all
Thank you.
symbolic. It has to be taken as time. Time has 12 months, 7 days of the week, 7 colors,
That is what is
6
natural.
seasons, like that.
And they are nothing but Bhagwan. That is the ultimately what
Right,
he's
right.
trying.
That-
The Prajapati himself is appearing as this 12 months, appearing as 7 days, appearing as minute also. So
Yes.
Everything is him alone. That is what
True.
they're trying to.
Right.
but-
And every moment I should remember God and be grateful. So gratitude, surrender, and bhakti. So that. Thank you very much. We'll continue
Anilji,
next week.
on shloka number 10, you explained those 4 things, Salokya, Samitya, and Sarupya. I didn't get the 4th one.
Okay, so it is Salokya means in the same loka.
Yes,
Samipya means close by. Sarupya means having the same rupa form. And Sayujya means merging with the total.
Tayuche. Okay, thank you.
So that is the four kinds of muktis. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, and Sayujya. So
What
four
is
kinds.
Sayuchya?
Sayujya means becoming one, uniting, where
Thank
there
you.
is no difference. I'm not even close to God, I am one with God. So you go
Okay.
from in the like in the same loka, then you go closer, then you start getting qualities of Bhagwan, and ultimately there is no difference between you and Bhagwan.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll do the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.